Good. The next step is to put the head in the right position. I'm taking one of the rods, it doesn't really matter which one. I'm taking it and start turning it down by hand. It should go quite easy. If it's not going quite easy, you should try to put some oil or whatever downstairs so it's really going easy. I'm just taking my glasses now to the tip of my nose because otherwise I can't see. And I'm just going to turn it, and I feel at the moment you feel it's touching the clamp. The clamp is really nicely positioned on the hoop, and now I'm just going to look here in this point. When I see the head reacting, just see moving it, I go back and down and up again. Just when I say okay, now it's in a nice position. The next step is to do exactly the same with the opposite rod. Again, I'm looking here down to see the head reacting to turning the rod. The same here. It doesn't matter in what kind of order you do it, as long as you do it with the opposite. It's reacting here. Doing it here. As you can see, the sneller drums, even the big ones, have only 6 clamps instead of modern drums that used to have 8 rods. Because of the clamp system and the very strong hoop, even with the 32-inch, only 6 clamps are necessary. Everything to make sure that there is as less baggage near the kettle. No struts, no metal hoop where the kettle is hanging in, no counter hoop, only 6 clamps. Well, now, and this is the easiest part, it should be okay. I'm just going to check around if all the clamps are indeed quite tight to the drum. Now you can see this one still has a little bit of space, so I give it a little turn, just like quarter turn, and now it's right. Now, when you have a head which already was on the drum and you put it on again, you make it wet like I just did, it only needs 4 or 5 hours of drying. Then it should be okay. So after morning rehearsal, when you have problems with your drum, it doesn't sound good, it's out of tune or whatever, you can do it just after rehearsal in the afternoon. It should be able to dry, and in the evening should be okay. Of course, it's not advisable to transport the drums while they're drying. You should really leave them alone. Put some notice on them that they are not to be touched, on penalty of death. Basically, it should be very nice in tune now. Any fine tuning afterwards with calf heads will basically destroy the intonation of the head. What we need here is that the head needs to settle. A calf head is very flexible, it needs to settle itself on the drum, and that might take a little bit of time, but in general, when you have a good quality head, it should be perfect already. And so this fine tuning, please don't do. Calf head will sound, one day will sound incredibly beautiful, next day will be a bit of work on it, like the reeds of oboe. It doesn't always have the same sort of quality sound, but be assured that at a distance it will sound always very nice. Let me see. This system I just showed you to put the head on, you can also do with other drums like Adams Philharmonic or Ringer drums, whatever. The only thing is you need to put something underneath the drum to keep the head or the whole system, the star, in the upright position, in the highest position. But it's basically it's the same way. So this is the way we put a calf head on the drum. If it's by one way or another, because you're not experienced technician, if it's not right, do it again. Just take it off, do it again, but don't start messing around with the fine tuning around the drum. Another question I received is what happens when the weather is a bit drastic, when it's too cold or too dry or too wet, and the fine tuner and the pedal on a drum with a calf head is not enough to make sure you have the right range. With these drums it's quite easy. You just what I do is I just put it up like half turn, half turn, half turn, half turn, half turn. I always count, because otherwise my phone is ringing and I forgot which one I turned or which one I didn't turn. And if you do it really regularly around the drum, you just can put the range up or down, and it doesn't have any influence on the intonation of the head. This system, of course, works on every drum with calf heads. So it's not only on the Adams Schnellers. The thing with the clamps, of course, makes it extremely easy. But every drum with a calf head, if you want to take the head off and put it on again, you have to make it wet and do it the way I did. And essentially the way of turning the rods and so on is the same as with any other calf head. I think that's it. My colleague Marinus Komst and I are extremely proud that Adams did copy our original drums. Schneller was the timpani player of Gustav Mahler and Richard Strauss, and they were both extremely enthusiastic about these instruments. I think these are very, very fine timpani, and we're really happy to have 2.5 sets like this. Also, I would like to thank my friend and colleague Ed Cervenka, very well known in our world for percussionorchestrations.com, the site where you can find everything about how many players you need, what kind of instruments, what kind of tuning in the timpani parts, and proud owner of another set of Schneller timpani. Thank you very much.